Brand, label, and guarantee. Switzerland, a modern, highly developed nation. Can we assume that it is a rational knowledge society? Unfortunately, uncertainties are constantly emerging in many areas that many actively address. Working for a lucrative and promising future occupies people of all generations equally. Swiss meat consumption, for example, is 3 times higher than recommended guideline values indicate. Given the current well-documented state of knowledge, this raises the fundamental question of whether meat consumption is still recommendable at all. Food controls are well documented, but they can be circumvented. Food scandals and questionable production methods are frequent topics, unfortunately not uncommon. Rules and authorities are only of lasting benefit to both producers and consumers if compliance is realistic. Socialized price specifications and market interventions often need to produce the desired result. Sustainable approaches and appropriate implementation would be helpful at best. Framework conditions and their performance often lead to more pragmatism. Therefore, anchored guiding principles should not simply be turned upside down but continuously examined, and sensible recycling should be part of common sense, even for so-called stuck people. In the best case, progress could even be achieved without extreme effort. Thus, the key lies in behavioral changes that require personal commitment. With clear goals and regular adjustments within unique strategies, it is equally possible to change one's environment beneficially. Companies, institutions, experts, and responsible individuals must lead by example. Brands sell well when consumers feel secure, for example, knowing that food contains few or no harmful substances, yet has a good shelf life. Fair and sustainable production could strengthen security and purchasing power. However, both balance and favorable market conditions require the attentiveness of many actors. Unfortunately, amid hectic everyday life, consumers often lack the time to get more detailed information about all products. In addition, they have to pay attention to the price. Compromises are accepted in the process. Enjoyment is also in focus, so the best intentions are often switched off for a short time, which can quickly happen even with a health-oriented attitude to life in hectic everyday life. Mindfulness. Production locations of food ingredients. Where do the raw materials come from? Well-enforced international standards. Level of processing. What additives are included? First-class brands, trustworthy labels and standards. The best value for money in branded products. How much sulfur, sulfides, is safe daily, week and year? Measurability of plastic content of marine products. Beneficial nutrient density, such as lentils, peas, or chickpeas, could be integrated into many other foods. Brands can differentiate themselves and increase their margins because consumers are already paying close attention. Measures. Should the media be held accountable and informed more often about the harmful effects of milk consumption, for example? Less sugar content. Can low-sugar diets also mean pleasure? Fewer but good fats in a favorable omega-6 to omega-3 ratio. Choose fewer carbohydrates and more beneficial sources of protein. Increased protein consumption reduces the feeling of hunger. An advantage in everyday life is that snack consumption is automatically reduced. Could schnitzels or burgers be several times less detrimental to health soon? Is consuming sweets with only slight or no adverse effects possible? Already today, some measures are moving in this direction. Keywords: feeling full, addiction potential, clear description, or special zones in supermarkets. The last steps are necessary because everyone could all too easily be affected. The case numbers are far too high globally. Progressive supermarkets focus on the welfare of consumers and not on selling as many products as possible. But consumers can also make a big difference by using advances in digitalization, self-monitoring via apps, for example. Nevertheless, health apps with targeted information on smart shopping still need to be expanded or more present. This is not a matter of coincidence, much more of entrenched structures. We are still a long way from making life-affirming investments. In other words, investing the Swiss franc in a more economically and socially beneficial manner. Conclusion: Sensor technology and control dominate the market. This can be observed even in the smallest environment, such as the kitchen. Manner. So, if you think about your sauce, for example, use less soy sauce and mayonnaise and more mustard and nuts, seeds, linseed oil, apple cider vinegar, and balsamic vinegar instead. You are living health consciously and doing yourself good. Professionals and gourmets create their spice mixtures and are interested in herbalism. They check the origin of spices and sensitive herbs and are interested in soil conditions and their sustainable care.